Hi, I'm John. Welcome to Twig Archery. Today we want to make a quick little video here since the weather's so nice, and it's basically just about the length of your arrow. Sounds rather simple, and it is, but a lot of times when people call me and they want arrows made, they're measuring the arrow from tip to tip. In other words, they're taking an arrow like this and they're going from the very tip of the point to the very tip of the nock. So we're at like roughly 29 3/4. That's really not how it's to be done. And a person who's an arrow smith or an arrow builder needs to know the actual arrow length. And by that is, what I mean is you measure from the back of the point here to inside the nock right there where your string goes. And in this case here, this arrow is 28 inches long. So that's a big difference. There's a big difference between a 28-inch arrow and a 29 3/4. So you always want to measure to the back of the point to inside the nock where the string actually snaps in there. And the reason that is because, first of all, points will vary in all kind of different lengths. You can have a point here, like this is a field point which measures roughly 1.5 inches long. And now we have an arrow here that has a point that is about just a hair over 1/4 inch on the point itself. Basically, it's a target point. But now if we lay both these arrows side by side and we go to the back of the point, we're going to see down here from inside the nock on both these arrows, we're just about 28 inches. So they're basically the same. You know, if you stand them up like this and look at them, you say, well, they're not the same. This one's 1 inch different. But actually, I would call these both the same length because we're going from the back of the point to inside the nock. That's because points up here will vary. You could have a broadhead that would be what they call 3-to-1 broadhead. It would be 3 inches long out here. I used to use those myself for many years. They're 3 inches long and maybe 1 inch wide at the tail. But you know that you can't draw. You don't want to draw that point up onto your shelf of your bow, whether it's a field point or of course a broadhead. You definitely don't want to get up there. You couldn't even get it up on the shelf because it would definitely become dangerous and it's going to hit the shelf anyhow. So it's just a little reminder to everybody out there: whenever you're figuring arrow length, it's not tip to tip when you measure an arrow. It's always to the back of the point to inside the nock where the string actually will snap. And that would help me and anybody else that's building some arrows for you, what length they need to know. Because when a person calls me and says, well, I'm shooting a 30-inch arrow from tip to tip, I don't know how long a point is. Is the point up here 1.5 inches? Is it a 1/4 inch? Is it a 3-inch broadhead? You know, so I mean, it's very you can't figure out what you actually have to have. So you have to know the actual length of the arrow itself, and that was, like I say, to the back of the point, inside the nock where the string snaps. So just a little tip will help you out, and it would help me out when people call me and customers call me and need some arrows made. I can get things done a lot quicker that way. We don't have to communicate as much. So, but anyways, I appreciate you joining us today at Twig Archery. Remember to shoot twig and score big, and we'll see you next time.